Hello everyone and welcome back to Satisfactory 1.1, where today, we're gonna kick things into overdrive. See, I'm tired of all these small projects we've been working on. The computers, the SAM ore, the packaged fuel. No, today, we're gonna do something big. See, if you know anything about me, you know that I absolutely love the trains in this game. Unfortunately, we are still missing a few of the parts to actually make the trains. Although we can unlock it now, the trains, or I think it may be the train stations, need heavy modular frames. Which is why today we're going to work on automating heavy modular frames. There is, however, a slight issue. The amount of resources that we're going to need. For the factory that I've chosen, we're going to need 2100 iron per minute, over 800 limestone, and we're going to need 16 water extractors. But with a little bit of overclocking, we just might be able to do this. See, I'm thinking we take these nodes where we're already making the modular frames, and we overclock all of them. There's 8 nodes. We can overclock each of them to get 300... Wait a minute. Uh-oh. So, small issue. When I was doing my math, I did the math with the fact that I'd have the minor Mark 3s and 300 per. And that gave me 2400 if I fully overclocked them, but we only have minor Mark 2s, which means that we're only going to have 1200, which means we are still a long way short. Okay, so looks like we are going to have to get some iron nodes from somewhere else. Luckily, it seems like there's 3 pure nodes here, and then there's also 2 limestone nodes over here. So if we take a train going through here, through this little valley, then we can bring the resources here and build the factory right here on top of where we already have our modular frame factory. That being right here, and we just have to take the train and run it all the way through that valley. So this whole thing has got to go. But one more thing that's extremely important: the amount of power shards we're going to need, because we're going to have to overclock every single one of these miners with 3 of the power shards. And luckily, last episode we did unlock the bit of research that allows us to duplicate our power slugs. But we're still going to need a lot of power slugs, and we're going to need the summer sloops. So if you would allow me to go, I think I'm going to have to go look for some power slugs and stuff. Okay, and we're finally back to base. It's been about 40-ish minutes. We did actually get a lot of slugs. So you can see we have 15 blue ones, 3 purple ones, and 5 yellow ones. As well as 10 Mercer spheres and 4 summer sloops. Now, our next big thing to worry about is the alternate recipes. See, when building this design, I used quite a few alternate recipes. I used the wet concrete, the, what is it right here? The iron pipes. I think this is also, yeah, this is an alternate recipe, the encased industrial pipes. Stitched iron plates. Let's see, iron wire. I used quite a few. I think I actually wrote them down. Yeah, right here. Pure iron, wet concrete, iron wires, stitched reinforced plates, or stitched plates, whatever, iron pipes, heavy encased frames, and the encased pipes recipe. Unfortunately, we do not have all of those. We only, I mean, just from the few hard drives that I found, we have wet concrete, iron pipe, and that's it. These are 2 of the better ones, but the one that I really need is is the pure iron recipe. Because without it, we're gonna need, instead of like 2100 iron, sheesh, I don't even want to imagine how much we're gonna need. But as well as if we don't get the iron wire, then we're gonna need copper. So I'm trying to decide right now whether it's worth to go out and look for more hard drives and have to sit through. It takes 10 minutes to research each hard drive. I'm scanning my last hard drive now, but is it worth it? 10 minutes per hard drive just for a chance to get it. And then I'm gonna have to go out and explore more. Okay. I think I've made up my mind. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get all of the alternate recipes. Or at least I'm gonna try to, as many as I can. Because we're gonna need them eventually, and right now, having the extra Mercer Spheres and Summer Sloops wouldn't be a bad thing. So I'm gonna go look for, I guess, about another hour-ish, and I'll update you guys when I'm back. Okay, it has now been about an hour and a half, close to 2 hours. I've scanned all the hard drives. Unfortunately, we did not get any of the other recipes that we need. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to rescan all of these hard drives and see if we can get something. I'm really, really hoping that we can. So let's see. Hard drive number 1. Nope. I guess this isn't horrible. Hard drive number 2. Nope. 3. Nope. 4. Oh, it's this iron plate. Yes. Okay, we still need iron wire. 5. Heavy encased frame. Yeah, we need this one. Yes. Okay, 6. No. 7. Nope. But I guess the recycled rubber and plastic isn't horrible. I guess this is the last one we can really do. We really need pure iron or iron wire. Like, really bad. And we got neither. Really unfortunate. Yeah, I just don't think that this is going to be feasible. Okay. It really isn't that hard to just pull 90 metal from, or iron from somewhere. Wait a minute. Can we even get the full 600 from these nodes? Because you have to remember that we need conveyor belts, and we can only get 480 from each node. Unfortunately, I don't think that we're going to be able to just... No. Conveyor belt Mark 5, we need aluminum and stuff for... No, there's just no way we're going to be able to do that. So, we're going to have to go back to the original idea and get the pure iron recipe. Okay, well, gotta go do some more searching. Hopefully we can find some more hard drives. I think I found a lot, but it's only been like 10. And after an hour and a half of scanning drives, yes, I'm being very serious, I now finally have all of the resources that we need, or alternate recipes. So it was, yeah, wet concrete, select. Oh, I have to do it one by one. Let's see. Wet concrete, iron pipe. Then it was, let's see, stitched iron plate, heavy encased frame, encased industrial pipe, iron wire, pure iron ingot. Is that the last one? Yeah, I think so. Pure iron, wet concrete, iron wire, stitched reinforced plates, iron pipes, heavy encased frames. Yeah, and it was also the encased iron pipes. Now we just have to completely tear down this entire factory, which shouldn't take too long, I don't think. And then build out the foundations and all of that. Oh, wait. I'm forgetting. We still have to go unlock the trains. Hold on. And here we are with the last bits of materials for our trains. There we go. Ada, I do not want to hear it. Okay. Let's see. What do you need for trains? Whoa. Wait, what? They changed it. Really? Are you serious? Oh my. They changed it. Okay, so in Satisfactory 1.0, the trains themselves needed computers to make, and the train stations needed heavy modular frames. But what? Wow, that is awkward, because now we're going to be building all of this entire factory for literally no reason. Well, whatever. No reason to stop now. I also set up this one little constructor here, so we can go ahead and finally use our Sommer sloops and duplicate each of our power shards. So I'm going to do that for the other two as well. That being our yellow shards. Where's my Sommer sloops? Need to go find them. Right here, and now we can duplicate each of our yellow slugs. And right here with our purple shards, we can get 10 for one. So this is 50 shards right here. Wait. Yeah. 50 shards right here. And then this is, I think, 2 for each. So that's 30 shards there. And right here, this is a lot. How many shards did we have in there before? I don't know. But finally, shards. This is what we needed. Needed a lot of these, yeah. I don't like the sounds that these are making, though. They sound so alien. It's weird. So, I just tore down the entire factory. But, I am looking a little low on the... where is it? Fuel. As well as, I was looking over the factory again. I realized we're going to need 62 refineries just for the iron. Just for the very first step. Turning the raw iron into, you know, regular iron ingots. So, and, you know, keep in mind, refineries are not small by any means. So this entire biome is going to get paved over just for the iron processing. But, really what I wanted to do is I wanted to finally use our, where are they? Mercer spheres and start building some of these dimensional depots. Now, the only things that I'm probably going to put in the depots for now is probably just our fuel, so I don't have to keep running all the way back to the oil factory, and concrete. I don't really think I need much else than that currently. I guess I could always go over here to alien technology and upgrade the stuff. I think, wow, that uses all of my SAM fluctuators. Never mind, we're not going to upgrade it just yet because I don't have any more SAM fluctuators. Let's see, I should just be able to put a dimensional depot right here, put a conveyor lift right there, and is it working? There it is. Okay, now we have access to, and we can just easily put items in there if we really, really wanted to. Perfect. I think that's probably where we're just going to put our old Sommer sloops and Mercer spheres, since we don't really need them for much else. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead, run over to the oil factory real quick, grab some fuel, and do all that. One last thing before I actually go over and start building the foundations. I made a few more of these SAM fluctuators so we can upgrade our, let's see, probably our upload speed, because it is just abominably slow right now. All right. Now we're at 30 per minute instead of 15. I'm also going to increase the stack size. Ada, shush. Oops. Ada, shush. And let's see. I think for the last one, since we can only get one or the other, probably just stack size. Yeah. Okay. Because see, now what I'm going to do... Ada, please. I'm going to take these last two spheres, and then I'm going to put a, let's see, a splitter right here. And then I can take this one input and split it off into two. I don't care if it's clipping. But basically, now instead of having just, what was it going to be? 15 per minute? Now we have 90 concrete per minute, all going into the depots. Yes. Perfect. Yeah, this is exactly what we needed. So I'm going to grab whatever concrete I can now, and let's go start building. And this is roughly what we're working with for now. I'm looking at this and I don't know. I'm hoping that we can fit in all of the generators here, or the what's it called? Refineries, but I'm scared. I don't know. What I do know is that we are going to need our blueprint designer. And we're going to need our refineries. I can actually probably just use an old recipe. I do, however, wish that we could be using the Blueprint Designer Mark II. It's just it needs like 100 heavy reinforced plate, whatever they're called. And that's what this whole factory is going to build. So no real way to get it for now, at least. But you should just be able to change these recipes around, get rid of these pipes, and just swap the colors, just like this. Here are our refineries. Now we just need to build this blueprint like what, 20 times, 22 or 21 times, which shouldn't be it shouldn't be horrible, I don't think. Just gotta hope we can fit it all in. Is it gonna fit? I don't know. Okay. And it has been about another hour-ish. There was actually a issue because we need a lot of steel pipes for all of these refineries, and I just didn't have any. But, let's see. I think this is all of them. I think I did my math correctly, and this should be 63 refineries right here. Which now means all we have to do is just, you know, wire them up. But before we do that, I do want to move on to the next step. Let's see. What would be the next step? Yes. Distributing all the iron into the iron pipes, the rods, the iron wire, and the plates. Those all need simply just constructors. Okay. Okay, I think actually, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wire this all up first. And then I'm gonna go ahead and build all the foundations up all over this area. Build a few blueprints, and I'll come back once we're about to start building all of the constructors. Okay, and I have all of the, what's it called? I have all the blueprints here. So here's our iron bars. Here's the iron pipe. Here's the iron wire. And here is the iron plates. So, let's just go over each one of these. So, which one is this? Bars, yes. So this one's easy. It just takes 15 to 15, 1 to 1. Real easy. Here's the iron pipe. Oh, this one was actually, yeah, I did want to talk about this one. So we're using Mark III belts, and these can only carry a max of 270 resources per minute. But each of these constructors needs 100 iron ingots. So I had to, underclock one of these. So it's going to take a single belt for each one of these. Wait, how many of these do I need to build? Oh no, I need to build 28.8 of these. So let's just call it 29. Divide that by 3. That's like 9, 10 belts right there. Oh yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, I'm gonna take this back into the blueprint designer. Maybe get some power shards involved and some higher tier belt, because that is, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Right here we have the iron wire. It's just 22.5 wire each. And right here we have our plates. Just 60 plates, you know. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead. I think I'm probably gonna do, I guess the iron pipes first, because they're definitely gonna be the most difficult. And I'll update you guys in a bit. Here is the iron pipes. Each of these little things make 120 each. So we have, you know, 120, 240, 360, and this should be 480, but I took the, I took the power shard out of this right here, so it's only making 450 total. So once I finally hook up the conveyor belts to all of this, I should be able to, you know, put a conveyor belt here, blah, 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 and then put like a lift here or something. I don't know. But this is, I think, probably the worst part done. I think all the, at least the other constructors should be a bit easier since I can use less belts. I think it's only, yeah, it's like only 2 belts for all of these. Or I could just use 1 Mark IV belt for each of them. I think I'm going to do just iron pipes or plates next. Yeah, this one isn't too hard. This doesn't look so bad, right? Right? So wow, it was a lot of conveyor belts and belting everything over. But I think I have everything set up correctly, at least all the inputs for materials. Oh, apparently not. I see a mistake already. I'll iron them out or whatever. But, yeah, this is lot of conveyor belts. I do think it looks nice though. It does cover up the machines a little bit, but if you're looking at it from over top, I think it's fine. I did actually start work on the stitched reinforced plates, or the stitched iron plates, just because it was dark and I didn't want to show off all of this while it was still night out. But I think it's going good so far. I'm going to finish this up, and then I'll work on the, what's even next? I made the blueprints for the other ones. Yeah. We have encased pipes and, oh yeah, the modular frames. Oh yeah, we're gonna need, I'm gonna need to get the concrete and do a little bit of more refinery work to get the wet concrete. This down here is really what I'm scared of. I hate plumbing and piping and all of that, and I'm gonna have to build like a huge pipe system and a whole bunch of pipes over there to bring all this water over. And I know that's gonna be such a pain. So I'm just trying to, you know, save that to last because I really don't want to do it. So I've been Satisfactory touring too hard, and my game just crashed. Gosh, I've been playing for like 10 hours straight. I don't know where my autosave is. I don't think I lost much, no. So I guess I might as well give an update on what I was doing. So I finished off all of our assemblers over here, making the, what are these making? The stitched iron plates. Over here, I started work on our encased industrial beams, and I even took a, well, I guess they're encased industrial pipes. I took a belt and ran it all the way back, all the way over there, so that way whenever we eventually hook up all these refineries. I just have to hook up one more set of refineries, or maybe two more, something like that, for all of the wet concrete, and I can bring that up right there, along with all the, you know, belts of iron. As well as right here, I did all of the... What are these making again? Modular frames? Yeah. These are all making modular frames. It's just 6 sets of 3. Yeah. These are just gonna, you know, materials in, boom, modular frames out. Now, the only thing that I did lose is do I have the blueprint saved, maybe? Yes. Right here. I was making the heavy encased frames. So here they are here. This is the blueprint. I was just working on making the, you know, inverse version, the opposite version. I guess I can go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, everyone, and here we are. I do think that now we have everything done, at least for like processing all of the iron into our heavy modular frames. It was just a bit of belt work, but I think everything is all set up properly. One thing that I was a little worried about is the power consumption. It's sitting at 920 watts just for this area up here. But to be fair, I am using power shards in a lot of these machines, which is actually kind of new for me. I've never really overclocked any of my machines before, ever, since I just saw it as kind of a waste. Why not just put down more machines? But got tired of, you know, the bigger factories and all the belt work. Overclocking just seemed a little bit easier. Went through over like 100 shards. Yeah, we started with like 180, and now we're down to only 73. Now we have to start work on the part that I really didn't want to do, and that's all of these refineries down here. Because a lot of these refineries are going to need their own, like, belts, and I'm going to need, like, all the, you know, I'm going to need to stack them up, and then I'm going to need to take them all up here. It's going to be such a pain. Like, this is all iron. Every single one of these belts needs to be completely full of iron, except for, like, this middle one here, because I think this middle one is limestone. But even still, like, look how many belts that is, and even over here as well. This is a lot of iron. But I guess the only thing we can do now is, I can procrastinate for a little bit longer, actually. We can go start work on building all of the water extractors. And if we're going to be getting all of this water over here, I am definitely going to be using Pipes Mark II. Because there is absolutely no way that you're going to make me take... what, almost 2,000 water over with Mark I belts capped at like 300 water? No, just not happening. Oh gosh, never mind. We're gonna need heavy modular frames for these. Dang it. Oh, that's so annoying. Luckily, I can make heavy modular frames in the crafting bench. Oh, is it worth it? I think it's worth it. Oh gosh. I'll be back.
One eternity later.
Alright, well, a little bit more than what we needed. But, should be... There we go. Perfect. Finally. Piping Mark II. Holy. So, quick update. I did actually finish all of the water, at least piping it over here. You can see that I took the pipes all the way over and I added a little foundation so they're not just, you know, floating there. But they come over here to these, you know, fluid buffers, and we have all of our 15 pumps. Speaking on that, I actually edited the factory a bit in Satisfactory Modeler. Sorry, it's a little messy. I cleaned up the factory a little bit just so that way we could have exactly 3 pipes going out. So we have, you know, 600 water over here into our wet concrete recipes, and then I have a few constructors making normal concrete, which means we do need a little bit more concrete total, but it's just so much easier for the pipe work. And I did the same thing over here for the iron. We're using a little bit less water, but we're using more iron just so the piping is easier, and that's my main concern. Over here at the refineries, you can see that I deleted a few, cleaned it up a bit. Since I'm only using, or I'm using exactly 60 refineries now, I just made, you know, a row of 20 there, row of 20 here, and this last row is only 17, I think. But then I just went ahead and overclocked these 3. So now we can just split our water pipes very easy between the 60, as well as our concrete machines shouldn't be too much harder. And I can just add those in right here or maybe right there. And then, you know, the constructors, those are real small. They can probably go just right here. I only need a few, like 4, maybe 5 for both. One thing I did figure out while working with the refineries is I'm not working with the refineries making 65 iron each. And I can only carry, what, 480 max with these conveyor belts? Where are they? Right here, yeah. 480 max with these conveyor belts. No, I'm just not doing that. So instead, I'm gonna unlock, where is it? Right here. The Blueprint Machine Mark II. So we can build some bigger blueprints and hopefully, what's it called? Fit in extra refineries and make them make, I don't know, 240 each. 4 refineries. I'll have to do a little bit of overclocking, or at least just 120, just something, an easier to work with number that isn't 65. And after a little bit of fiddling, I came up with a design kind of like this one. So it's 4 refineries, and then we have all of our, you know, inputs in the back, you know, same as before. But I have this one, 65, and then we have 130, 195, and this last one here is underclocked to 45, which is going to give us exactly 240 iron, which means I can just take 2 of these and then hook it up with 1 Mark IV belt. Unfortunately, it's once we look at the inputs, it does get a little weird. See, this is just, you know, 35, 70, and then we have our final 105 right here. But then it's once you get to this one that it starts to get a little nasty. 13.846 water per minute and 24.231 iron per minute. So I mean, I guess this is as long as you don't look at the inputs, it's fine. It's fine. But now it's time to go take down all of those and rebuild it with these again. Honestly, not as bad as I thought. All of the water work wasn't horrible, I guess. It was just a little weird because I had to do some weird rounding. 300 going there. Then I have the rest from this pipe going over and into these first few machines. And then I have our second pipe full of water going all the way down there. Not sure if you can see it. That fills up the last few refineries. And the rest of that water comes down. It goes underground here. I actually did something a little cool. Just to hide away the pipe for when we get all of these conveyor belts going through full of iron. Yeah, we have this pipe going underground, and the rest of the water goes into all of these refineries, all the way down to the very end. I also took the time to bring our last pipe over and hook up all of our, what's it called, things here. What are these called? The wet concrete refineries. Yeah. So I guess the last thing that we can really do is just set up all the constructors, and then I won't be able to procrastinate for any longer. I will need to start actually hooking up all the outputs. But it shouldn't be as bad as it was gonna be, because now I just have to hook up like these 2 sets of 4 machines, and that's a full 480 belt, and I can just take that 480 belt and bring it right over to here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and build the constructors real quick, and yeah. Here is the constructors for the concrete. I actually quite like what I did here. I tried to use the conveyors and some lifts to make the, what's it called, resources go over top of the constructors. I think it looks really good. I think I'm gonna try and experiment with this more in the future. You know, make things a little bit more vertical instead of having it all just laid down like this and like that over there. But here's our last bit of iron. I actually do have to overclock this last one. I'll do that in a second. But now... And I guess now there is nothing else that I can really do. I mean, other than bring the resources over by train, but that's going to be a whole thing by itself. I don't even want to get started into that. But I guess now all we have to do is route all of these conveyor belts to the refineries. So this is genuinely going to take like 2 hours. Here we are now with most of the iron up here. I actually had to go back and redo pretty much all of these conveyor belts because they were not set up correctly, like at all. What I had to do is over here, these use 480 and I had to use an overflow system. So these three constructors here, or these three setups, use 480 iron each. So that's just one full conveyor belt, easy, done, But this last conveyor belt goes into these few constructors. These don't actually use the full 480. These use what? 100 here, 100 here, and then 160 here. So that's only 360. Then we have the remaining 120 coming back behind here, merging with all of the excess iron from here, which I believe is 180 or 150. I don't remember. I think it's 180. Yeah, so we have 180 going here, merges onto here, merges into this belt. Then we have that, I think, yeah, splitting off into here to provide this side with the remaining 180 that it needs. And then we have, it's just a whole bunch of overflow, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to bore you. Okay, everyone. Big moment. I went around and organized everything a little bit and set up all the iron and limestone inputs for the entire factory. So now you can see this is where all the iron has to go, or at least the raw iron has to go all the way back there. And I did the same thing for these refineries, those smelters. I set up both the miners on the limestone. So now we should be able to, or this is covering at least half of the limestone that we need for this project. 450 out of 900. Going into all these refineries. And yeah. So for limestone, we only need another 450. But for iron, we're going to need quite a bit. And on quite a few belts. I guess I could really quickly try and hook up all of these iron refineries. Ooh, miners. There is a slight issue though. I didn't realize when I was building that I actually did cover up one of the iron nodes. I think it's like right here. Yeah, but it is only an impure node, so I don't think it's gonna make that big of a difference if I can even stand. I think there's another one like right here. Yeah, there's another one right here. But I think we can get to this one pretty easily. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and route all this iron over there instead of, making it easy on myself and just putting it directly into these machines. Because I already did all the math and all the conveyor belts and everything. And I don't feel like having to go back again. Look at how much this is, just conveyor belting everywhere. And here are the constructors. Now, the whole thing actually worked out pretty nice. Because, see, I took these two impure nodes, and that's a belt of 300. Took these two. It's another belt of 300. Right here, in the middle. And I took these last nodes and didn't fully overclock this one. And now this last belt is a belt of 390. And if we take a look all the way over here, well, it's kind of covered up now, but you can see that we needed 300 in this one, we needed another 300 in this one, and then for this last one, we needed exactly 390. Right there, see? So now, all we have to do is just bring the train over with the resources that are going to be right here, I think. And just bring in the extra little bits of iron, the 960 iron, which is just 2 belts and the 450 limestone, which isn't even a full belt, and everything will be good. So I'm gonna go ahead here, and I think we should probably build the train station here first, just to get a nice little layout and see how it's all gonna look. And I think something like this should be perfect. And now we just have to set the railway system in a little loop-de-loop. But anyway, we can go ahead and take this belt here for our limestone. Like so. And then we can take, let's go ahead and build this out. We can take this last belt here for, shoot, wait, we're gonna need, all right, I'm gonna set all this up, and I'll see you over at the nodes, I guess, where we'll be building the other train station. I do now think that everything is done. I think that all we need to do is just give it a little bit of power, turn the, you know, actually build the train. But I think that it's all done. And if we want to look over here, the final power input comes to 3,307 megawatts, which is, holy, it's quite a lot. So let's see, let's just connect it up, I guess just right here. Okay, so yeah, a few machines are going to be off, but I mainly just want all the, what's it called, generators to come online, and looks like none of them have so far. And I also don't even have the train up yet. Let me go ahead and put that down real quick. You know, looking at the journey now, I don't really think that we needed to make trains for this, but at the same time, trains are just the best. I gotta clean this up a little bit. Anyways, we're here now with our first delivery of limestone and iron. And just like that, the train's off. And now we have all of these resources coming over. And yep, there we go. All these conveyor belts are filling up. That should lead to our other, wait, why is this off? Why are all these, oh, the water, I forgot about the water. I gotta go turn the water on. And I'm just gonna hook this up right there just for now. Yep, now we should have all of these turning on. Wow, this just looks amazing. Love this pipe work. And then going into the 3 buffers. Ah, brilliant. Anyways, no water just yet. And luckily enough, we shouldn't have to worry about uplift at all, since these pipes and pumps are higher than all of that over there. And if you don't know how fluids work in this game, trust me, I don't know either. Yep, these are all turning on from the concrete, or, you know, limestone. Those refineries should be turning on. Let's just make sure the iron ore is going everywhere. Yup. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Very, very nice. Pretty soon we... Oh, yep. There we go. There's our first few refineries turning on. And our train already back with another shipment. Yup. Water's coming in. Perfect. It's exactly what we want to see. And eventually, all of these belts should be completely full of iron. All of these belts up here. We should have these few, yep, filled with limestone. This is also the perfect time to see if we have any issues in the factory, which I know there will be. I just hope it's working for the most part. Like here, is there even any iron input? No. I completely forgot about these over here. Oh wait, no, these need iron rods and iron plates. Well, still, there's no input. Okay. I can't. I'm gonna let the factory run for a bit and fix any issues that I might see. Like this. This is not even colored. It's fine. It's fine. I think now everything is finally coming together. We have all the refineries on, ignore those ones that are off in the back, but at least we have, you know, all the resources coming through and everything. Every single one of these manufacturers are at 100% efficiency right there, and last one right there. I think that's going to be all for today. But if you enjoyed, go ahead, show your support, you know, like the video, throw a little subscribe, comment down below, you know, all that, the cringe YouTuber stuff.